Chapter 31. So, it's agreed, I said, counting the raised hands, and it's unanimous. Tonight after dinner, we will send out 2 search parties to look for the beacon. Fatima will lead one using yards as the distance. Pavel will drive that digger. Pavel nodded. Elena will use miles. I felt a twinge of sadness and fought to hide it. I hoped it was miles. That would keep Fatima busy on 4 fruitless searches and Elena far from danger. Elena was back at her place by my side. She had her arms crossed and a severe look on her face as she said, "If you find the beacon, do not touch it. We cannot set it off until the blackout is over." Everyone nodded. And Therese has proven she can drive, so I suggest she follow me with Nazim and Julio in the cockpit, Elena said. "It'll be tight," Nazim said. "Not with your skinny butt," Julio said. "Or both of your big heads," Therese said. "But if you agree to keep quiet, I can show you how a digger works." Julio and Nazim closed their lips tightly. I made eye contact with Alec. He was keeping quiet and nodding along. Good. The meeting broke up. "That went pretty well," Elena said. "Nice job." She gave me a very tight tap on the arm. "Ouch," I said. She laughed, and it was nice to hear that sound echo in the room. "I had another great idea," she said. "I'm going to take Darcy along with me. She's been so sad since Finn died. That's a great idea. Don't forget to talk to Friendly, too. She gets mad if you ignore him." She nodded. I had to fight the urge to say goodbye to Elena, to hold her hand again, to feel her head on my shoulder one last time. But I needed everything to appear normal, or as normal as anything could be. "So I guess we are back to being a pretty good team," I said. She nodded. "Can we go for a walk?" she asked. My radar went off. Had I done something, tipped her off in any way? I did actually promise to give Alec one more quick lesson in digger driving, but I just couldn't leave Elena with the memory of me saying no to her. Okay, I'd love to." As soon as I even said the word love, I felt a lump rise in my throat. I gulped and steadied myself. She slipped her arm in mine and we stepped down the tunnel. "I'm feeling better, Christopher," she said. "I want to thank you for that." I didn't say anything right away. I was worried I'd start tearing up. "And you don't suspect me of being a spy anymore, so that's good," she said. "I know. I'm so sorry. I didn't actually think you were. It's more that I needed to weigh the evidence without letting my emotions get in the way. I couldn't let the safety of the whole camp be compromised because we're friends. If there's anything I can do to make it up." She smiled again and gave a little laugh as she pushed away from me. "Christopher Nichols, you are still so easy to wind up." She took my arm again and we continued down the tunnel. Elena had certainly recovered her abilities to leave me feeling flustered. "I wonder what will happen after this is all over," she said. "I have no idea." I looked at her dark, beautiful hair, which was starting to grow back except for the places where her skin was too badly burned. "I am not sure I'm ready to even think about the future yet," she said. "I think about it sometimes. You need to have hope. Hope that things can get better." She was silent for a bit as we walked. "We're still not old enough to live on our own," she said, frowning a little. I was taken aback again. "You mean together?" She frowned. "Oh, brother, I mean without adults. It's like that book you're reading, Oliver Twisted or whatever. The kids end up in orphanages or on the streets. I'd like to think Melving Mining would take care of us after we've been through." "Do you think that includes the grinders?" I wasn't sure about that. "If you or I have anything to say about it," I said. "Adults don't always listen to what kids have to say," she said. I nodded. We walked in silence a little longer. "I have a plan," Elena said at last. Uh-oh. "I've been thinking about what we can do next." "Yes," I said, my voice sounding way too nervous to my own ears. "We should send up a couple diggers to the surface." I gulped, but managed to speak out. Okay, not to attack, but to dismantle the bombs the landers set outside the core scraper. Whew, that's interesting. I have a pretty good idea where they are. They didn't spend a lot of time trying to conceal them, and I did a walk around before I snuck back into the building. You think if we can dismantle those bombs, it doesn't matter if the landers leave, I said. Exactly. They can't reach us underground. They might be able to drop bombs on the reservoir and some of the buildings, but they won't totally destroy the infrastructure that way. We can survive and then fire the beacon. It was actually a pretty good plan, but for one obvious thing, none of us could defuse a bomb. But I didn't want to argue with Elena. I think it's a good plan. We'll call a meeting for tomorrow to map it out with the others after your team and Fatima's find the beacon. You mean after my team finds the beacon, she smiled. I wasn't aware it was a competition. She gave me a grin and poked me in the chest. I think she and I compete for everything. I gave a nervous laugh. I guess at the very least it would be nice to be on the surface. She nodded. I'll lead the team. I'd like to see the sky again. We reached the garage. Alec was already waiting there, sitting in the cockpit of his digger and trying to memorize each button and screen. He didn't give away any sign of emotion, any sign he and I were planning to leave. I'm going to go prep for the next beacon search. See you later, Elena said. She gave me a quick kiss on the cheek. Despite my best efforts to stay cool, my lip quivered and I had to turn away. I coughed, hoping to cover the quaver in my voice. See you later, I said, turning back to look at her. She faced me and gave me a salute. Fearless leader, she said. I saluted back. I watched her walk away. This was the last time I'd be alone with her, ever. And I wanted to hold on to every last image to cherish on the final ride to the surface. She turned a corner and I walked into the garage. Alec looked up at me. She hasn't guessed, he said. He seemed surprised. I don't think so. I hope not. Let's go practice. We spent the next hour driving through tunnels and firing up the disruptor to fly through the walls. Alec was a pretty capable, if not great, driver. Not that it would matter too much. I checked my watch. It was almost dinner time. After we ate, Fatima and Elena would start their search. I'd wait a few minutes and then start out on my own. Time to head back, I said. Alec turned the steering wheel and we cut back through the rock toward camp. He got out of the digger. You go grab some food, I said. I need a few seconds to get myself together. Alec nodded. After he left, I waited a second, then I opened up the dashboard of his digger and cut the power line. Dinner was canned beans and chocolate bars again. I didn't want to eat anything, but I forced myself to. Fatima and Elena sat next to me and mostly talked about what the beacon might look like and how they would keep in contact during the search. I think it would be a big computer with lots of colored lights and stuff, Elena said. I imagine it will be very small, but shaped like an apple pie, Fatima said. With whipped cream icing, Elena said. They said and laughed. I stared at my beans. The beacon was the last real connection I had to my parents. They'd helped set it in place. My father had told me to find it. I'd never see it now. Finally, it was time. Dinner ended. I walked over to Fatima and hugged her. Good luck, I said, smiling as cheerfully as I could. Thanks, rich boy. Make sure you do all the dishes while we're out doing some real work. She laughed. I rolled my eyes. Elena was helping Darcy and Friendly settle into her cockpit. Darcy had helped save me, and I also needed to say goodbye to her. See, Darcy, I said, leaning down to hug her. I told you this was a treasure hunt. I bet you find it first. She didn't say anything, but looked past me to wave goodbye to Maria. Then she held Friendly's bandaged paw and stared straight ahead. I stood back up and smiled at Elena. You stay safe, I said. Okay. Looking for a beacon? I'll try. You stay safe, sitting back here reading your book. Will do. I hugged Elena a little bit longer. I hoped she didn't notice, but I couldn't help myself. She climbed into her digger, closed her hatch, and then led the mini caravan of diggers out to the opening of Tunnel 1. I waited a few minutes before I slipped away to the garage. I'd told Alec we wouldn't be leaving for an hour, so the garage was empty when I got there. I slipped into my digger and fired it up. I cut through the wall. I didn't head for the landers right away. I had one important errand to run first.